Let's talk about nuance in today's society, today's like climate, specifically the death of nuance. And I remember, I think this has been a gradual, slow death for the most part, like over the last like decade or so, you know? And what made me think of this actually was like everyone's got hot takes, but no one has any patience anymore. And I think a lot of that has to do with just online culture in general and how people talk to each other online. And it's like, I know there's other websites and stuff that are like this, but like for me, Reddit sums it up. Like on Reddit, people when they comment something to you, they're looking to dunk on you. They're looking to dunk on you, mic drop, and then like leave the conversation. And then you're there like trying to have a back and forth dialogue, and that person's gone. They're like, no, I scored points. I scored points on you. I'm gone. You know, I made my point. Now I'm out of here. And then you're like, okay, well, there's no back and forth dialogue here. So anyways, why that matters to all of us and why it's so important that we get nuance back in our conversations. So one of the things that made me want to do this video was I was on Instagram and I was just like flipping through reels or whatever. And now I know nothing about this woman, but I feel like probably if I like went on Netflix, I could probably find her story on some sort of like true crime documentary or whatever that's probably like viral right now, because like this clip was an interview where she's talking to this person and you know, tons of engagement on this reel. So like clearly people know who this person is, this lady. So she's like, in the very beginning of the clip, she starts off by saying like the whole clip was about her being abused by this man, you know? And the interviewer's like, so how did you know or meet whatever the guy's name is, fuckface? And she's like, well, I knew him when I was younger, and then, you know, we drifted apart, and then he went to prison for a while, and when he got out, we got back in touch. And she goes, and I sort of knew what I was getting myself into. And then she you know, like it's edited or whatever, and she goes on to talking about like all this horrible stuff that this guy did to her. And I was like, am I missing something here? What did you think was going to happen when you decided to date somebody who just got out of prison and you admitted that you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into? So I comment and I say something along the lines of like, am I not understanding this correctly? Oh, because she accused him later in the video. She accuses him of grooming her for like this domestic violence. And I was like, am I not understanding something correctly? Like, what did you think was going to happen when you date somebody that just got out of prison and you admitted that you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into? How are we calling this grooming? And oh my Lord, the women came out of the woodwork. You should be ashamed of yourself for blaming the victim. Like, just like basically lots of comments like that. And I was like, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm literally not blaming anybody. I don't even know who this lady is. And I just reiterated the fact, like, that's not grooming. If you know what you're getting yourself into and you're an adult, already if you're an adult and you're using the word grooming, I'm already not really sure that that's like how I take that word to be used, right? You know? In my mind, grooming is like something nefariously done to somebody who is underage and not like aware of what is happening, you know. For a grown-ass woman to be like, yeah, so I started dating this guy that just got out of prison, and I kind of knew he was violent and everything, but then guess what, he hit me, he groomed me. I'm like, you know what, I don't really agree with that. And so anyways, the women were just like going off on me and trying to do the emotional like blackmailing, like you should be ashamed of yourself. You should use your platform on social media to, you know, speak for victims, not blame them and all that stuff. And I was like, two things can be true at the same time. He can absolutely be a piece of shit that can go right back to prison for all I care. And she can be a dumbass that signed up for this and let it happen. Like, both of these things can be true at the same time. Oh, and I made a prediction. I said, let me guess, she has a book for sale. And then I went and looked and she does have a book for sale. So, you know what I mean? I was like, so two things can be true. This guy could be an absolute idiot, piece of shit. Yeah, go rot in prison. She can absolutely be a dumbass who is now basically monetizing her victimhood. And all these women are like, slay queen. Oh my God. How dare he? Yeah, how dare he? But what are you? Like, what about you? Right? So two things can be true at the same time. And what is happening is we've lost that. Everybody wants to score points for their team, right? And so the women in the comments were obviously team women. So they did not want to even entertain the idea that their team could have had any part in some sort of a negative outcome. No. Not over here. No. Over there. It goes back to the other video that I did about the others the other day. You know, no wrong over here. The sisterhood. We stick together. It's the men. It's that man, that evil man. Yeah. I literally could have looked at the picture of the guy and been like, yeah, don't date that guy. But she's like, huh, I'll change him. You know? So anyways, that was like what got me. That was what got me thinking about like the death of Nuance, in terms of just like, these people could not see that both of by me aiming a little bit of criticism at their side, they wanted me to essentially condone what he did. I'm like, no, I'm not condoning what he did. You know? So drop a comment. Like, where do you see Nuance dying the most? You know, is it in relationships, like culture, politics? Definitely politics. But like, I want to hear from you. Like, drop a comment. Where do you think Nuance is dying the most? It's a problem because you can't really have conversations on complex topics without nuance. You know? Like, the way, and it's because everybody's divided up into their teams, but the way it seems now, it feels like society only wants the extremes. Black, it's either black or it's white. There is no gray anymore. But we all know reasonably that that is actually where the truth lies. The truth is not black or white. The truth is usually gray. But when you're like, no, can't talk about that, where does that leave us? You know? And it's because we've most people have gotten off the fence and have joined one side or the other side of this like dodgeball game, you know? And everybody's just like hurling their point of view at the other side, but there's no like talking about it. You know, it's either good or evil. It's like, well, you know, even the worst person in the world had some sort of good quality to them. And the nuance is you should be able to say that and point that out without people thinking that that means that you approve of whatever evil shit that person did. You know, it's like, no. Both things can be true at the same time. And then with the social media algorithms just absolutely feeding you the most extreme of whatever topic you're on, right? You know, just like getting you like so enraged. But we got to get back to that point where we can sit down and have a conversation, like, and go back and forth and listen to the other person and say, yeah, well, you do have some good points and I have some good points. And the other side be able to like acknowledge that without feeling afraid that if they acknowledge it, that it's gonna like make their team lose, or they're gonna like lose points on the scoreboard, you know? And I have like a really good like instance of this. So I was talking to somebody the other day, and I had come to this thought like originally on my own, right? To as much as I am aware, this was an original thought that I came to on my own. Okay. And so I'm like talking to somebody, and we're having this like normal back and forth conversation about this topic. And I give my thought and my point of view, and they instantly, it was like a switch got flipped. They no longer were interested in having this conversation, and they were like, where did you hear that from? So and so, like, I don't freaking know. I can't even remember who it was. Like Alex Jones, you know? And I'm like, no, I thought of that on my own. But in their mind, they had heard, I'm just going to use Alex Jones. I don't think it was Alex Jones. But in their mind, they had heard Alex Jones say something similar. And well, Alex Jones isn't on the left, he's on the right. So therefore, what I just said is a right-sided, right-leaning thought. Therefore, I must be a Republican. Therefore, I must be a a fascist, Nazi, racist, you know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, no, it was just like this one little offshoot, like something I had pondered on my own. And when I said it, they immediately moved that thought into the bucket that they thought it should go in. And then they didn't want anything to do with the conversation anymore. You know? Like, we got to stop like labeling like ideas and opinions as something. Like, just open dialogue. You should be able to chat about something. You know? I don't know, chat. What do you think? Do you think Nuance is dead? Hiding, or on life support? Like, here's some examples of areas in our life that I feel like Nuance is lost. So we already mentioned politics. Like, people are treated as traitors if they don't fully align with the other side. Like fully align, you know? It's like you have like a scroll and you're like, huh? Do you hereby claim that you believe every single thing on this here scroll? If yes, sign in blood. If no, get the fuck out. You know? It's like, well, you have 99 things on that scroll. What if I agree with 98? Nope. You're a traitor. You know? Seats taken. Or how about this? Like personal like disagreements with family and friends. It goes like full nuclear now. You know, you have people like disavowing people, kicking them out of the family when before it would have been dialogue. Yeah, sure, Thanksgiving might have got heated back in the day, but like, you know, you still invited Uncle Jim back every year. You didn't like cut him out of the family because he did not believe in all 99 things on the scroll. He only believed in 98. So Uncle Jim needs to not come back, even though he has the best pumpkin pie. But, you know, that's what you have to do. You have to make those sacrifices when you're a revolutionary. Sometimes after I say shit, I think about it and I'm like, that's ridiculous. But I don't know. Have you guys lost friends or seen someone cancel another person just because they didn't agree on every single detail? Do you have an Uncle Jim that you kicked out? I would love to know what he said. So again, so like I think that the death of Nuance, why it's so dangerous is because overall it's a loss of critical thinking. It's like nobody has sat down and done the work to like think through and figure out where they stand on different issues. They just outsource their opinion, you know, to the tribe that they're a part of. They're like, oh yeah, gun control. Hey yo, what do we think about guns? No? Yeah, no. I do not believe in guns. I think there should be stricter gun control. You know? It's like, do you really though? Have you really sat down and thought about it? And then since it's this Reddit brain dialogue, if you start to try to have a conversation with them, the second they don't agree, if it's in like some sort of a real world setting, and they don't, all they know is how to type out their shit post, hit enter, and then, you know, go heat up a hot pocket or whatever. But in real life, when you start to have this conversation and you ask them like some critical questions where they would need to think critically for themselves, and they say something like, if you don't know the answer to that, then you're the problem. Get fucked. You know what I mean? Like, that is some absolute immature, like childish response. Like, if you're talking about big boy issues, big girl issues, then you should be able to talk about it. You shouldn't run away at the sign of somebody like poking a hole in your argument, you know? So anyways, we've lost critical thinking. And I love ChatGPT, but if you think about that, if we've already lost critical thinking, Outsourcing a lot of our processing power to AI probably isn't going to keep us super sharp. You know what I mean? But yeah, people have like super fragile identities these days. Like they cannot handle being challenged. And history shows, if you look at history, it shows extremes cause conflict. Just go watch my video, The Othering of America. That was last live stream, but I did clip it and put it in its own video. It's all about that. It's all about pointing at the others and blaming everybody else, you know, and it just gets more and more extreme. So do you think, let me ask you, comment, do you think society is worse now? Or has it always been this way and we just see it more because of how we communicate now, like leaves a lasting impression, right? Like a post on Twitter stays there versus these people might have had a conversation in a coffee shop 50 years ago, and the only people that would even be around to know that it happened would just be that handful of people in that coffee shop, you know? So do you think society is worse now, or has it always been like this? It's just more visible. And how do we bring nuance back? How do we undo this and somehow get people to stop caring about scoring points and winning arguments, you know? I think we need to ask better questions instead of just pushing talking points. Like, have you ever had that happen? You go to like talk to somebody and it's like they're reading off a script. It's like, I didn't realize I called Dell customer service. I wanted to speak to the human standing in front of me, and I wanted to know what that human really thought. I don't want to have a conversation with you pressing 0, 0, 0, 0, trying to talk to a real person. Like, what's going on behind those eyes? You got to recognize, like I said, two things can be true at once. We have to get back to that. I think in general, the world needs to be more curious and less combative. When you stop thinking about a conversation having a winner and a loser in it, I think that automatically kind of tones down the tension and the combativeness for sure. And I think I do a lot of videos on this. It's such a powerful skill to have, but like in the moment, be able to audit yourself and say, am I reacting or am I truly thinking right now? Because sometimes when things get a little spicy and your ego might be a little hurt, a little bruised, a little challenged, reacting is a lot easier than thinking. And that's when people start trying to dunk on each other. So I challenge you, leave a comment. What's one topic you've changed your mind on after hearing someone else's side? Like done a 180 on it. Yeah. And that's all I got on that. Thank you for watching, and I hope it changes your opinion on some things and we can get back on track.